Hitting record. Just in time for me to drink my Gatorade. Stay hydrated, everyone. Okay, so tonight, DMs are playing with me. Nick and Sebastian should have gotten the invites. Sebastian here? I don't see Sebastian. I do not have. I didn't get an email from Aaron and Olivia. If you could shoot me whatever email you signed up for Roll20 with, or go sign up for Roll20 with some email, then I can invite you to the game. Once you're in the game, once you accept the invitation, like right now, let's see. I still only have one player, which is me. So Nick and Sebastian, if you could accept that invite on Roll20, that'd be great. Or check your email. Let's see, Humble Bundle. Okay, so that we can get this going. I actually, yeah, please just sign up. Because you have some character sheet stuff to do once we get in. And then tonight at 7, we're going to play. Okay. So you should be able to just join the game on Roll20, and we'll have video and audio through Roll20. Last time I did this, one of us kept dropping. We didn't know why. Everybody else seemed fine, and he could only see. Yeah. I figure we give it a shot, and if it doesn't work, we'll all join a channel on Discord, which is rock solid, right? So that I honestly, I don't know how to turn off audio and video on Roll20. So let's start it there and go see what happens. After we're finished playing, I'll send y'all a link to the adventure. And my friend Ian, who graciously set up all this Roll20 stuff for me, what he's going to do is make you each an individual copy of the Roll20 adventure with your name on it, and then make you a co-GM with him. And then he will ignore it forever after. So then you will invite your players, and we'll tomorrow we'll make groups of players. In fact, I'll make the groups probably after class sometime between 5 and 7, and put each of you in charge of one of the groups. And then people can join your play group, and you can figure out a time with them to play sometime before next Monday, because next Monday we're going to talk about this, right? And we're basically going to spoil the whole thing next Monday. So one of the things we're going to do is compare what happened with everybody's groups. Maybe somebody burns down the whole city, whereas somebody else, everybody dies, right? So we're going to compare and see what happened through these stories. So by next Monday, everybody should have played. That's the other thing. DMs. What I need from y'all is an email once you have played to say, these are the people who showed up and played with me. right? And for everybody else, remember rule number 2 is don't be a jerk. So part of D&D is it's cooperative storytelling, right? So there are lots of ways to be a jerk in D&D. Please don't be a jerk. Uh, Participate, have fun. It's a game. Um, in the past, we have had people show up uh, and they are there in body but not in spirit, because the whole time they're sitting there on their phone texting or reading or whatever. I would consider that being a jerk. I mean, it's not like put your phones down, but if you're delaying the game because you're paying more attention to your phone, um, than uh, than the game, then you're being a jerk. So don't. Also, there is nothing in the adventure. Um, I mean, there's some violence because it's Dungeons and Dragons and there's swords and spells and stuff, but there is nothing in the adventure that should be more than PG-13. So please don't get weird with each other. Yeah. Uh, um, you guys figure it out, but be adults about it. Um, uh, if anybody is uncomfortable, um, please let your DM know. If your DM is making you uncomfortable, please let me know. um, there should be no reason to talk about anything but rat people and flying spells and silliness, right? Um, so that's D&D. Oh, also, I have a file of the basics of D&D. This is given out free by Wizards of the Coast. I will put that up in the Canvas files section. It basically goes through the basics of the rules. It's a PDF. And you can all, if you've never played D&D before, give it a look-see. What's the matter, Eddie? I think wait, when are the sessions for non-DMs? You're going to figure that out after tomorrow.
And Nicholas,
with the DMs.
2 comments back, Nicholas had a question in order to set up the character.
Oh, what? In order for us to set up a character in the game, you need to create empty characters. Exactly, which is why I was waiting for y'all to join the game, right? So I just invited you. We're at like 2, so I'm behind in all this. On Saturday, I said, "My God, I've been working kind of nonstop, so I am going to take this whole day and not do anything like read the D&D adventure again or set up Roll20. I'm just going to take the day off." And I took the day off, and I've been behind ever since. So there's that. Also, yeah, so there are 2 types of players at the table. There are rules lawyers who tell the DM exactly why they can do what they want to do at all times, and are somewhat annoying, let's say it. And then there are what I call rules attorneys, right? And I like rules attorneys because I don't know every rule there is, right? There are big books of rules for this game. I don't remember how to do everything. So what I love is when somebody else is like, I want to jump and land on the bad guy and wrestle him to the ground, right? And I'm like, okay, well, the jump check seems right to hit him right, and then it's grappling. Oh, I hate grappling. Okay, how do we do grappling in this edition, right? And that's if somebody can say, oh, that's on page 138 of the player's handbook, I'm all for it. In general, the way I handle D&D is, if I don't know a rule, yes, we're playing fifth. Yeah, I don't know if fifth has grappling. I just use grappling because that's I honestly, I know that grappling is on page 138 of the 3.5 rule book. So there you go. But if I don't know a rule and nobody else seems to know a rule, rather than stop while we all like go nuts and look up the rule for 10 minutes, I will just make something up, right? And I will say, okay, roll this. You need a 15. And if in 10 minutes, when somebody's done looking up that rule, they say, oh, you totally did that wrong, I will say, okay, we'll do it the right way next time, but the way we did it stands. Let's keep moving, right? I am perfectly open. I make mistakes all the time. I will confess, this is going to be the first time I run 5th edition as a DM. I've played 5th edition, I don't know, 4 or 5 times at this point. But I've never run it before. I've played this adventure, but I haven't run this adventure before. So we're, might be a little rough. I don't know. I've been DMing since 1978. I think I can handle it, right? I was 14 when I first was a dungeon master, trying to convince my skeptical friends to play this weird new game with me. Okay. That said, I got all the right clubs graded. So there's that. I got all the character sheets graded. So there's that. I'm feeling on top of things, kind of, except for this whole D&D thing. I'm a little behind. Karen, you got the quizzes done? All set there. And you got your half of the character sheets, right?
Yep.
Okay. So tonight, the 5-page story is due at midnight. DMs, please get it in before we start playing, because I can't tell you how many times I've had DMs go, oh no, I have to go home and finish this story. And I'm like, or can I have an extension on the story because I'm playing D&D with you tonight, Dean? And that is called using me against myself. So don't do that. Okay. Anything else business wise? Oh, once everybody gets in their games on Roll20 this Friday, so in Roll20, you will get a blank player sheet. Okay. We will also share with you a Google Drive full of characters, full of pre-gen characters that are PDFs, right? And I haven't written up this assignment, but it's a pretty easy assignment. It's really not hard. You're gonna pick one of the characters from the PDFs. All my DMs have already done this. And that's going to be your character, right? Yay. I am a half-orc paladin. When I played it, I was the half-orc paladin. And then the thing is, on the software in Roll20, it's a blank template for the character. So what you have to do is take your PDF, print it out if you want, or put it on one half of the screen, however you want to do it. And you actually have to enter your numbers in the Roll20 character. It's kind of tedious. It's not hard. It's a matter. So number one, I will post a video of how to enter characters in a character sheet. Sorry, DMs, I don't have that in time for us to play, but you guys are smarter than the average bear. So I figure you can figure it out. If not, we'll go with what we got. And the cool thing is then when I say, I don't know, roll to hit with your longsword, you just click on your longsword on your character sheet and it rolls the appropriate dice, right? And yay, that's really easy and fun and wonderful. The good, so aside from the sheer mechanics of it, which we could do without, I'm more interested in you doing a little reading, looking at every single power and what spells you have, if you have spells, or what weapons you have, or what skills you have, so that when we get there, you have a basic familiarity with your character. The other thing I'm going to say, you're all going to start at first level. Nobody's going to level up. This is an adventure for first level characters, right? So even at first level, D&D characters can have a bunch of stuff they can do, right? I've got 3 spells. I could use a spell for this, or I could use a spell for that. That's wonderful. And especially with new players, the impetus, the kind of, oh gee, I have all these things I can do, is to try and use all those things, right? Much of the time when you're playing D&D, all you really need to do is say, I walk over there. There are times when your create water spell is going to be perfect for the situation at hand, but 90% of the time it's going to be absolutely useless, right? So maybe the sheets are second level, I forget. Probably second level. Again, Ian gave me all these sheets too, so I am less than familiar with all of them. So one of the things that happens, and this happens in lots of games, is what we call analysis paralysis, right? Where the DM says, what do you want to do, Johnny? And Johnny says, ugh, and stares at his sheet, right? To find the absolute perfect thing that's just gonna do everything that needs to be done. That does not exist, right? Sometimes you just need to walk to the right place. Sometimes I'll just whack it with my sword is perfect, right? So In general, when you're playing, it's great to be clever, but do the thing that seems like it needs to be done. If you're a fighter, fight, right? If you're a rogue, sneak around. If you're a cleric, heal people, right? Maybe call down fire, whatever. Depends on what kind of cleric you are. So just and don't sweat being the star, right? Everybody's going to get a chance to shine. That's part of the DM's job and the writer of the adventure. And we're going to talk about that when it comes time for you to write an adventure like this, about how to give every kind of character a chance to be cool. Create water in enemies' lungs so they drown. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Destroy water, kill an enemy by dehydration. Yeah, again, not a thing that spell works for. In fact, once I tried to create an ice wall. I had some ring of ice wall, and I was like, why can't I make the ice wall 10 feet above the bad guy and have it fall on him? And of course, in the description of the spell, it says it has to be anchored somewhere. And you can't just create a wall floating in the air above bad guys to crush them. So guess what? All your bright original ideas have probably been thought of before, but maybe not. Who knows? Anchor it to a cloud. Is it? But a cloud isn't really there. I don't know. Okay. Also, next Monday is going to be the time when we all talk about our adventures. So some of you might play on Wednesday, and you'll get here on Thursday, and you'll be like, "Oh, this cool thing happened or that cool thing." Keep it to yourself because other people have not played yet. Okay. I know it's going to be really exciting. It's fun. D&D is fun. Also, some of you may hate D&D. That's okay. There are lots of people in the world who are like, yeah, no, that's I don't want to do that anymore. That's fine. My wife has seen me play D&D many times, and she has absolutely no desire to ever play it. She's like, nah, not for me. Don't care. Don't want to do it. But here's the thing: as game developers, so much of kind of modern action adventure, even turn-based strategy, even real-time strategy, and of course role-playing computer games, they all owe so much of their kind of thinking to Dungeons and Dragons, that the idea that you could get through 4 years of a college program without in game design or development without ever having played Dungeons and Dragons seems crazy to me. Hence, I made it a requirement. So, of course, not everybody has to take this course. Just 2/3 of you, so to speak. Okay. And it's only 25 minutes in. Uh, didn't get to talk about Tacoma last week. Wanted to talk about Tacoma. Tacoma's fun, right? Very different from 30 Flights and Gravity Bone in that there's dialogue, people talk. We had none of that in 30 Flights. There are scenes, right? Tacoma is so good. Yes. Honestly, before Tacoma came out, I had everybody play Gone Home, which is Fulbright's first game. Please no spoil. Tough, buddy. You were supposed to have it played by last week. I'm not gonna spoil Gone Home, but Gone Home is there for. Although at this point, Gone Home's like 10 years old. Go play Gone Home. It's by the same people. Technically, it's not quite as visually impressive, but writing wise, it's actually amazing, right? So, but they both do the same kind of thing. They are, even though they're very different, they both have the same kind of structure. Gone Home, you come home to a house that your family has moved to. You learned this in the first 5 minutes while you were doing your junior year in Europe, right? You're doing your IQP in Europe, and while you're gone for the 6 months that you're gone, your family moves to a new house, right? So you have come home. Nobody picked you up at the airport, and you come home to this new house that you've never been in before, and it's a dark and stormy night, and no one's home, or at least it seems like no one's home. Where is everybody? And that's kind of the central mystery, and it uses haunted house tropes, right? It's a dark and stormy night. It's an empty house. It's scary. Tacoma, we use the abandoned space station as haunted house trope, which goes back basically to Alien, right? Alien is the movie where they combine horror and science fiction, right? And we've had horror and science fiction before. I suppose War of the Worlds. I don't know. Is Godzilla horror? It's all those kaiju movies are. I was scared as a kid of horror movies, but I loved all the Godzilla movies because watching big monsters smash cities was great. War of the Worlds. I'm thinking like the 50s movie, or even if you want to talk about the Orson Welles radio play, Aaron, it is terrifying. The Orson Welles radio play about Martians landing in New Jersey was one of the first fake news hoaxes, right? And arguably one of the first alternate reality games, right? Where the big innovation there was that they did a broadcast that looked or that sounded like an actual news broadcast or many actual news broadcasts. Yes, it sent some people who tuned in late into a panic. If you listen to it, they say that this is, Orson Welles Mercury Theater presents War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. Yes, it would have gotten Dean fired. At the end, he actually had to come in as Orson Welles and say, we hope we didn't scare you too much. In fact, I think the whole thing is on YouTube. Let me see. War of the Worlds, radio broadcast 1938. Nope. War of the Worlds. I went too far. There we go. War of the Worlds. Let's go to the end. Wait. Okay. Let's see if I can share this. Ooh, this is fun. I've never done this one before, but perfect for share screen, share computer sound. Okay, share. There we go. Let's go to the end here.
Strolling on the green where the new spring lasts. This is Orson Welles, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go.
Out of character, to assure you that the War of the Worlds has no further significance than as the holiday offering it was intended to be. The Mercury Theater's own radio version of dressing up in a sheet and jumping out of a bush and saying boo. Starting now, we couldn't soap all your windows and steal all your garden gates by tomorrow night, so we did the best next thing. We annihilated the world before your very ears and utterly destroyed the CBS. You will be relieved, I hope, to learn that we didn't mean it and that both institutions are still open for business. So goodbye, everybody, and remember, please, for the next day or so, the terrible lesson you learned tonight. That grinning, glowing, globular invader of your living room is an inhabitant of the pumpkin patch, and if your doorbell rings and nobody's there, that was no Martian, it's Halloween.
Isn't that great? He did that off the cuff. That was no Martian, it's Halloween. But I mean, it.
The Columbia Broadcasting System and its affiliated stations present Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the air in The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells.
So they say at the beginning, it's very clearly a radio play. And if we go
being watched closely by us about their little affairs. Business was better. The war scare was over.
Anyway, okay. So a lot of words to say it's a work of fiction, yes, but good words. That there, Orson Welles. So that was his disclaimer, just like you're going to need a disclaimer on your alternate reality games. So Tacoma, did anyone notice as we were docking, we got a scan of the station and it said 0 life signs, crew. In fact, let me go find that. My videos, my channel. Okay. No, I don't want part 2. I want part 1. Tacoma, part 1. Okay. Hold on a sec. Let me get to just share screen. Tacoma Twitch stream. Share computer sound and let.
Breathable air on Tacoma for a crew of 1 should be more than sufficient. Dr.
Nice. Thanks, Minnie.
Transmits critical audio-visual information.
Your identity.
You're muted, Dean.
Thank you. At the very beginning, I can't seem to find it, but it said on one of the readouts, crew evacuated. So it tells us at the very beginning that the crew has been evacuated, right? So theoretically, we know that there's no one left on that station and that the crew was all taken off. There is a point. So what science fiction tropes does Tacoma use? And do we know what I mean by a trope? It's a common building block. We've seen it in other stories, and we have expectations for it. In fact, there's a site called tvtropes.com that basically we have an evil space corporation. We have an all-knowing AI. We have a haywire AI. Okay, so evil space corporation comes from Aliens. All the Alien movies, we have an evil space corporation. We have evil space corporations in lots of video games, right? Doom had an evil space corporation, the UAC. Going back that far, we've got the System Shock games that have an evil space corporation. Wall-E has an evil space corporation. Yes, you're right, Carrie. Although Wall-E isn't particularly scary, although it's certainly a dystopia where we're all sitting in our recliners forever. The haywire AI goes back to somebody name another thing. 2001, exactly. HAL. In fact, there are glimpses of the HAL 9000 here. This is the famous scene. Let me show you that one. Share screen. The HAL 9000. Share.
Open the pod bay doors, please, Hal. Open the pod bay doors, please, Hal.
Hello, Hal, do you read me? Hello, Hal, do you read me? Do you read me, Hal? Do you read me, Hal? Hello, Hal, do you read me? Hello, Hal, do you read me? Do you read me, Hal?
Affirmative, Dave. I read you.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What's the problem?
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
What are you talking about, Hal?
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
I don't know what you're talking about, Hal.
I know that you and Frank were planning to disconnect me. I'm afraid that's something I cannot allow to happen.
Where the hell did you get that idea, Hal?
Dave, although you took very thorough precautions in the pod against my hearing you, I could see your lips move.
All right, Hal. I'll go in through the emergency airlock.
Without your space helmet, Dave, you're going to find that rather difficult.
Hal, I won't argue with you anymore. Open the doors.
Dave, this conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
Hal? 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 Hal?
Very famous scene. um, so in 2001, we have this rogue AI, HAL 9000, that takes up a good half the movie. This expedition to Jupiter, where HAL basically turns against his creators. Also, if you notice, HAL, HAL, is one letter off from IBM. Oh. So it goes back to that, but if we look in the Alien movies, we have android in the original Alien. We have an android who turns against his creator. There was a wonderful, and I say that fully ironically, movie in the 70s called, I think it was Saturn VII, with Farrah Fawcett. Let me see if I can find Sarah and Kirk Douglas. Let's see if I can, where the robot, oh, this is too wonderful to not share. Share. Okay. This is the robot stalking Farrah Fawcett from 1980. Come on. There she is.
Hector, put her down. Let her go. Conform.
Do you see who that is?
Hector. He'll do what you say. Alex, you ask him.
Hector, please put me down.
Okay. So we also have that one, and just off the top of my head, I just had it. Oh, uncontrollable id. The monster from the id. Okay, here's an even earlier one.
Where away? At the head of the arroyo. Moving? This way, sir, slowly.
1956.
Automatic control.
This was some serious science fiction.
Fire! Hold fire.
You see anything out there, Doc? Nothing.
Batteries. Fire!
Randall.
Dead on target, sir.
Good.
It's an invisible monster that is. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Give me the flash! Thing's invisible!
Look at that. That's a cool monster. Okay, and in this one, Blade Runner with the androids who have the replicants who have turned against their makers. In this one, they are investigating a planet that has that is uninhabited, but there's a giant machine, and I'm going to spoil it, but you should all watch Forbidden Planet. It turns out that the machine turned on its makers, and wiped out an entire civilization. But that doesn't tell you about the present action of what happens in Forbidden Planet, starring Leslie Nielsen. So we have all these kind of back to the dawn of movie science fiction, of AIs running amok, of bad. I mean, it owes a lot to gravity. Tacoma does, where we've got a space station that's hit by meteors, and we have to get out. We have to put together some routine, some plan to get us home. It even has a cat, right? And the cat is straight out of Alien. I would play the cat scene from Alien because it's great. But there is a point where Sigourney Weaver is home free. She can get out, and she forgets the cat. And she has to go back in to the alien-infested spaceship in order to save the cat. So why did they do this? Either to make you falsely think, oh, it's an evil AI, or it would make sense for Venturists to make their AI sound robotic so they can discard them without people thinking about their humanity. Okay, so Fulbright Company is making you think it's one kind of story when it's really another kind of story. They're making you think this is a space horror story where an evil AI or a malfunctioning AI turns on its crew, who are in the middle of a crisis, and they can't depend on the evil corporation that sent them out there. and the evil corporation isn't so much evil as uncaring, right? It's only at the end that we find out they're actively evil, right? That they need these people to die for a PR stunt in order to get a law passed to make their space condos profitable. But here's the wonderful thing. After giving you all those feelings, all those, oh my God, horrible things are going to happen. They're all dead in their stasis chambers, right? Weren't you sure at the end that they were all dead in their stasis chambers? Isn't Outer Worlds the yeah, well, it's got the evil corporation stuff. Outer Worlds has a lot more kind of, I don't know, details. I'm not sure it's a better story. Oh, hey, look who's behind Carrie there. Trip and Grace have graced us with their presence. So at the end, we've built up all these kind of horrible feelings that these people are all doomed, that all these bad things have happened, and all the people that we've gotten to know and like are dead or dying, and then it turns out okay, right? Oh my God, they got away, and I'm actually the good guy here to save Odin. Oh my God. So there's a certain, it's not exactly catharsis, it's like reverse catharsis, right? If we go back to Aristotle, and he says that that contentness is just a facade, ha ha ha. So Aristotle says we need tragedy in order to exercise our emotions and purge them. Now, whether that's actually true, I don't know. I seem to recall reading at some point that there's no like biological need to purge your emotions, right? But there is a certain amount of release when you see a tragedy come to the end, and we get the same sort of feeling, but the opposite when we're expecting tragedy and it all works out. Oh my God, everybody, yay, we win, right? And they use all these tropes against us, but in a good way. Because at the end, they kind of pull the rug out from under us and say, no, everything turned out okay. It's okay. Let's go on. Masterful writing. Not just that everything turns out okay, because if we had a story where everything turns out okay, it would be no big deal. My wife and I watched a rom-com over the weekend. We watched the trailer and we were like, oh, he's going to end up with her instead of the woman he's dating. And we called that from the trailer. And then, yeah, I know. And then it didn't work out that way. And we were like, go figure. A rom-com actually surprised us. Okay, so I will see DMs. Please email me your emails that you signed up for Roll20 with. If you haven't already, I'll check right now. And I will see you at 7 on Roll20 or in the Discord. Okay. Thanks, everybody.